Hello friends, welcome to this YouTube video program. Friends, we are discussing about the Unit 7 of MES-011. The course code is Understanding Education of MA Education Program of Indira Gandhi National Open University. We have started our discussion on the first course. Briefly, we are discussing the content point and an overview of each unit of this course, MES-011. This is the first course of first year of MA education program. We have already discussed sixth unit. Sixth means the earlier 6 units, unit 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 and 6. And today we are discussing the 7th unit, okay, unit 7. The title of the unit is Education Supports Required, okay. And as I have already said that for discussing on this unit, we will engage ourselves in two video programs in YouTube. In the first program, we have already discussed about different types or the category of resources that we require in education, that we require in our schools, in our colleges, in any educational institutions. And further in this program we will discuss about the resource mobilization and resource utilization, how to mobilize the resources and how to utilize the resources. So friends, just to recapitulate that what we have discussed earlier in this unit, we have discussed about the categorization of resources for education. We have discussed 4 types or 4 categories of resources, that is the financial resources. Then further we have discussed about the human resources, then infrastructure and learning resources or the teaching learning resources required for pedagogy, okay, for implementing the pedagogy, for implementing the content. Then further we have also discussed about the other resources. So under each head, under each category, we have discussed that what are the different types of resources come under each category. Just like under financial resources, we have discussed about the funds or the aids, the financial aids that the institute receives from the government. It may be the state government or it may be the central government. Further, we have discussed about generation of fees or the revenue of the educational institute, especially for the private institute, that is you can say through the fees of the students, through the tuition fees of the students. Then further we have discussed about the donation given by many voluntary organizations. This is a type of financial contribution to the institute, to the schools, to the colleges. Then further we have also discussed about the contribution, the financial contribution by the industry, different industry houses and the traders, okay, the large traders. Then under human resources we have discussed that there is the requirement of the teachers, then the supporting staffs like lab assistant, technical staffs, then further educational administrators, who takes care the entire development of the school, okay, of the educational institute. They also come under the human resources. We have also discussed about the supporting staff for administration, okay, those help in our day-to-day activities in the educational administration, okay. Then we have also discussed about the infrastructure and learning resources. So the school building, the classrooms, labs, library, okay, so these are school boundary. So these are the infrastructure. At the same time we also require many infrastructure for managing a teaching learning process, just like for doing a type of science experiment, for doing a type of demonstration in geography, demonstration of any subject, any discipline. We require many teaching learning resources, many resources for implementing our pedagogy. That also we have discussed. Then we also require infrastructure for organizing the games and sports, okay. So we require the instruments that require for different types of games and sports, then different types of tools that we use that is also part of one that is come under the infrastructure and learning resources head of your resources for education. Then further, under other resources, we have discussed about the community and the society. Okay, we also equally use community in the teaching learning process for empowering the students, for developing skills among the students. At the same time, for the you can say for the total development of personality of the students, many a time we also utilize the community resources. Okay, it may be musician, it may be craft person, it may be a doctor, it may be a guidance and counselor, it may be you can say superannuated teachers, renowned teachers, awarded teachers. Okay, so means those have done certain good work in different sphere of society, in different aspect of society. Okay, so we can invite to our school system, to our educational system for interacting with the students, so that our students they will properly groomed and they will get certain inspiration from them. So that's why there is always education is you will find that the school and community are related with positively, they are related with education, and the development of school is depends upon the development of the community. At the same time, the development of community is also equally development and education, development of school system. So friends, these are the certain concepts that we have discussed in our earlier program, and in this program we will discuss about how to mobilize the resources and further how to utilize these resources. So friends, when we talk about resource mobilization at various levels, we should understand that how to prepare, how to get the resources, how to manage the schools, means how we will get different resources and how to manage that resources. You see friends, we have talked about in our earlier program, we talked about the financial resources. Okay, so here how to get the financial resources. So the school does effort for getting finance from different sources. Okay, the utmost source, the prime source is let it is a private school, so they get revenue from the tuition fees of the students. Then further, apart from the tuition fees, the school also generate their revenue by taking a type of donation. And many a time you will find that voluntarily, many people from our society, they provide certain donation to the schools for the development of the school. It may be in head of infrastructure, it may be in the head of school building, it may be in the head of certain teaching learning instruments, for purchasing of certain teaching learning instruments. Okay, in terms of you can say the boundary, the school boundary. Okay, in different head, the private schools, they may get certain donations. At the same time, the business houses, they also provide certain your aid, certain financial aids to the school. So school engage themselves as per their annual budget. So they gather, they try their best to get to generate the revenue, so that they can properly smoothly they can manage their schools. So far as the salary of the teacher is concerned, so far as expenditure in other head of education is concerned, so for how they can manage their institute in a proper way, in a smooth way. So that's why finance is required. So here generation of finance, or prepare themselves for functioning the school in a very proper way, so that the prime beneficiary, the main beneficiary of the school should not be affected. Proper teaching learning process should be conducted, teachers should be well paid. So all such things the educational institute takes care. So that's why when we talk about the research mobilization of financial resources, here the school takes care, or the educational institute takes care, that how to mobilize the resources, especially the financial resources. And further, when we talk about government schools or the government institution, you see mostly the financial resources or the financial aid, they get it from the government. Okay, at the same time, many a time you will find that, especially in the higher education system, just like in the colleges and university. So now you will find that most of the university, they also engage themselves for raising their revenue, okay, for getting their revenue, for managing their institute by their self, okay, so by themselves. So here you will find that without depending upon the government, though that is a government run institute, still then that you can say nowadays you will find many institute are self sustained institute. Just like you can take the example of Indira Gandhi National Open University. You see, Indira Gandhi National Open University is a type of self-sustained institute, self-sustained university. The university generate its own revenue, and with its own revenue, the university runs its entire process. Means it provide salary as per the norm salary to the teachers, to the teaching faculty, to the other faculty of the university, and huge activities which is going on under IGNOU, under Indira Gandhi National Open University. You will find that the budgetary allocation, at the same time the financial management is borne by the university itself. At the same time, many central universities, state-run universities and colleges, you will find that they have started running the self-financing courses, different professional courses. So by doing this, they are generating certain revenue, and with their revenue, they are managing that program, and at the same time, they are also getting utilizing the resources, the financial resources, for the development of other activities in the university. So friends, when we talk about the research mobilization, it means from where we will get the resources, how to prepare that institute, means for proper functioning, for proper operating, for proper running. And further, when we talk about the human resources, it means we concerned about the teachers, we concerned about the faculties, we concerned about the administrative staff, the supporting staff. Okay, so here you see, for preparing the institute, for mobilizing the human resources, you will find that the school or the educational institute should appoint adequate number of teachers, and those are professionally trained. Okay, so for teaching higher secondary, for teaching subjects in higher secondary, in senior secondary, in different subjects, just like to teach physics, to teach chemistry, to teach geography, to teach economics. So here subject teachers should be appointed, and they should be professionally trained. At the same time, at the college level, you will find that as per the UGC regulation, as per the UGC eligibility criteria, the teachers should be appointed, the professors should be appointed. So here this is the responsibility of the educational institute to appoint or to mobilize the human resources, where to get the qualified teachers, the efficient teachers, those can properly contribute in the teaching learning process, so that they can develop, they can create, you can say, well educated citizen, well educated students. Okay, so that's why the utilize your human resource mobilization is also one of the very major aspect in the for the educational, for the part of the educational institute. Then further we can talk about the infrastructure, okay, the physical infrastructure. So when we talk about physical infrastructure, you see, the school should prepare itself for a you can say all weather good building, at the same time adequate number of classes, adequate number of infrastructure required in the school. It may be lab, it may be offices, it may be scientific equipment, it may be teaching learning apparatus, teaching learning instrument, teaching learning tools that are being used for demonstrating a topic, for you can say for doing experiment on certain educational aspect. Okay, at the same time with a proper security, or you can say all weather safe your infrastructure should be developed in the school. So any educational institute should prepare themselves for managing or for developing such infrastructure in the school. Okay, then further when we talk about the other infrastructure, you see, the school should mobilize themselves, the educational institutes should mobilize themselves to get the community resources, to utilize the community resources. Okay, so where they will get the resources, how to use that resources. So friends, resource mobilization is one of the major aspect so far as your education support required is concerned, so far as school management is concerned. Further, we can discuss about, after resource mobilization, how to utilize the resources. So friends, proper utilization of resources is a science as well as an art. You will find that for proper managing the educational institute, for proper managing the college, proper managing the universities, you will find that the infrastructure which is available in the institute, that should be managed properly, that should be utilized properly. So you see, mostly it depends upon the leadership of the institute. Okay, it depends upon the principal, it depends upon the vice chancellor, it depends upon the head of the school. Means how they understand the system, how they properly utilize the resources which is available in the institute. Just like when we talk about the financial resources, we should understand that where to utilize the finance and how much utilization should be there, and where to generate the resources. Okay, so proper utilization of resources is one of the major concern. Then further, when we talk about your utilization of human resources, you see, many a time you will find that the good number of teachers, efficient teachers, professionally trained teachers are appointed in the educational institute, maybe in school education or maybe in higher education, but they are not getting properly used, they are not getting properly utilized. You will find that an efficient teacher is not getting opportunity to teach a particular subject or to teach a particular content. Means you will find that many in educational institute, different types of experiences you will get. Means allocating proper work to a proper person is an art, or you can say it depends upon the leadership quality of the head of the institute. So that's why if you have appointed good number of professionally qualified teachers, so properly we should engage the teachers, engage the educational administrators, engage the support staffs in proper place, so that the teaching learning process should it should proceed in a very smooth way, in a very sound way, in a very conducive way. The students should get the optimum benefits of it. So that's why when we talk about the utilization of human resources, so it is up to the leader of the institute that how he or she understands the availability of the proper human resources in the institute, and how he or she has prepared the annual plan for utilizing these human resources. And further, when we talk about the infrastructure, the utilization of infrastructure, you will find that the institute is having a all-weather building, at the same time huge number of classrooms, labs, libraries. Okay, then other your clubhouses, games and sports room for indoor and outdoor activities. So everything is there. Then further, this is the responsibility of the school, this is the responsibility of the educational administrator to take care of the infrastructure, especially physical infrastructure which is available in the school, whether all are in a proper shape or not. Okay, so if chair and table is there in the class, but if it is in broken condition, that is not functionable, then what is the meaning of it? If projector is there but projector is not working properly, projector has not placed in a proper way, and no one is using the projector, and if there is a smart board in the class, but if the teachers are not using that smart board, so here also a question arises that though there is physical infrastructure in the educational institute, but that infrastructure is not getting properly utilized. So that's why, friends, when we talk about your utilization of human resource, your infrastructure, especially the physical infrastructure. A proper observation is required, and the head of the school or the head of the educational institute should properly involved to observe that what is going on in the institute, and whether things are happening properly or not, whether things are operating properly or not, whether the things are your utilized properly or not. And friends, one more thing here we should discuss that as per the Right to Education Act 2009, so you'll find that at the primary class, means class 1 to 5, the teacher and student ratio is, that is 1:30, and at the elementary class or the upper primary class, that is from class 6 to 8, the ratio is, that is 1:35. So here one should understand, the school management should understand, for mobilization of resources, if number of students are increased in the educational institute, in the school, so accordingly the teachers should be appointed, so that the ratio which is recommended by the Right to Education Act 2009, that is 1:30 at the primary and 1:35 at the upper primary, it should be maintained. So that's why it's come under the resource mobilization. At the same time, the resources which is already available in the institute, to supervise the resources, to see the functional aspect of the resources, to see whether all the resources are functional or not, whether it is operating or not. It is part of the school management, it is part of the leadership of the school, it is part of the school administration. So they should properly take care that whether the things are happening properly or not, utilizing properly or not. Then further we can also discuss about utilization of resources which is available at the community. As I have already said that in the community you will find the best resource person. Many a time you will find certain retired person, certain superannuated person, those have done certain magnificent work, certain wonderful work in their field, maybe in the field of medical sciences, maybe in the field of agriculture, maybe in the field of art and craft, maybe in the field of music, games and sports. So what you can do, so being the school administrator, being the head of the school, so what you can do for proper utilization of the community resources, you can invite certain person to the school for having a fruitful discussion in the school, interaction with the students. So friends, we have discussed about the resource mobilization, at the same time the utilization of resources. So mostly we have completed this unit. The unit is education supports required. So education supports, when we talk about education supports, it means the resources, where to get the resources, how to manage the resources, at the same time how to mobilize the resources and utilize the resources. So friends, we have discussed about different types of resources which we use in education, maybe human resources, maybe physical resources, maybe resources that we use in our pedagogic system, in our teaching learning process, maybe financial resources or other resources like community. So we should have a proper understanding about the resources, where to get and how to mobilize those resources, at the same time how to utilize those resources in a proper way, in a very effective way, so that we can get the meaningful result, constructive result. So friends, we have completed this unit. We have discussed the main points, main content point which is there in Unit 7, that is education supports required. Further, in our next program, we will discuss the next unit, that is Unit 8 of the course MES-011, Understanding Education. Thank you.